Hey guys, it's Housewife in Heels, and I'm here with my latest shoe review, this one being the Christian Louboutin Iriza pumps. Now first I just want to say thank you to my subscriber Tony, who so kindly sponsored these shoes for me. That was very generous of you, and I really appreciate you making this video possible. Now, I am absolutely in love with these shoes. Overall, I give them a positive review, but there are going to be two reasons why I really love them, but one reason is going to be more important than the other. The most important reason why I think these shoes are amazing is because of the comfort. These have a very stellar reputation for being some of the most comfortable Louboutins that you can get that are always readily available, and I found this holds true. The thing that makes these shoes so comfortable is this half dorset. If you're not familiar with the term half dorset, it means that there is one half of the shoe that doesn't have any material connecting the toe box to the heel of the shoe. Now, what's nice about it is that it has this wraparound effect. It wraps around the ball of your foot. It doesn't constrict it, so that way it can be snug across the whole side of the foot. It only cares about being snug around the ball of the foot. This makes it quite accommodating for that area of your foot, so that way you won't experience things like any blood flow restriction, pins and needles, any blisters, things like that, just from the shoe being incredibly tight around your toes. It is quite comfortable because while it is accommodating, it is not loose enough to where any friction will begin to occur, creating blisters. So that is also incredibly nice about this shoe. It is also quite comfortable because it is only a 100mm height. I understand that for some people that is quite high, but for someone like myself who wears high heels all the time, it is quite a tame height for myself, who I'm someone that will wear 120mm out with no problem, so a 100, that's perfectly fine. I find these shoes comfortable enough to be able to go hang out with friends, go run errands. I have worn these shoes for stints of a few hours at a time while breaking them in. And something else that makes these shoes comfortable is that they do break in quite easily. The leather is not very stiff, as you can see. It is quite squishy around where the sides of your feet will go. This makes it have give over time. The leather will become a little bit looser. It will conform around your foot quite easily if you wear them enough, and it will get a little bit of give over time and eventually become a little bit bigger on the foot, because I need to inform you that when you go first purchase really any Louboutins at all, any pumps need to be quite snug, and if it's your first time trying a Louboutin on, it's going to feel too restrictive at first, but you want that because the leather will loosen over time. So definitely take that into consideration if you're a first-time Louboutin shopper. Now, something that I think is quite nice about these shoes, at least the material that I chose, is that the patent actually has quite a lot of use value, being that it won't really get a whole lot of wear too fast. While they are nice and pliable where they need to be, they are quite stiff where they need to be. There is very little give in the top of the toe box, and there's very little give around where your heel will go. I can't really squish it. It's quite tough where it needs to be, so you don't have to really worry about any cracks developing in the leather. And the patent you don't really have to worry about. The patent you can, let's say, have your stiletto fall down in a little chunk of the sidewalk and it won't really scratch very easy. So the patent at least definitely holds up well. As of right now, I don't have these shoes in any other sort of materials, So I would just recommend, if you're starting out, get a patent if you really don't want to have to baby your shoes as far as wear and tear is concerned. Something else that I know a lot of people care about, I personally really don't, but people do want to be informed, and some people do care about this, is how the soles will look after getting worn. And I do not use sole protectors. I just kind of wear the shoe as is. That's the way Mr. Louboutin intended them to be used. I have gotten quite a bit of scuffing. Obviously some of the paint is peeling off. I haven't done anything, in my opinion, that would be too terrible, but for some people this would be a travesty. You can always put on Vibram or Casali sole protectors at your local cobbler, or you can just put on a sole protector yourself. However, I feel that doesn't really do much. I'm sure some people get some success out of it, but I can't imagine that that would be terribly long lasting. Now, after all of that, if you are still interested in these shoes, you're obviously going to want to know what size to get, because I know there are some of you out there that don't have the opportunity to try on a pair of Louboutins. Generally what you'll hear is a rule of thumb for Louboutins is that you want to go half a size up. This is simply not always the case. It is the case if you have an average to slightly wider foot. And something else that people need to take into consideration is that Louboutin sizing can be all over the place. These shoes are no exception. While most of the time Louboutins can run big for people, these shoes most of the time Louboutins can run small for people, these shoes run big. So most of the time you would want to consider going a half size up, but for these, I had to go a half a size down. This is because I have a narrow foot. So in Louboutin, I tend to go to my true to size, and these I'd go down half a size because they have to be quite snug on the foot. So if you are interested in these, determine whether your foot is narrow. If it is, you want to go down a half size. If your foot is average, you want to stay true to size. And if you have a slightly wide foot, you want to go up half a size. If you have a quite wide foot, then you may want to consider going up a full size. I always recommend trying on the shoes if you do have the opportunity, but I know that most people don't. So I think that about does it for this shoe review. It has a pretty positive review for myself, and I will continue to wear these for a long time. I will throw these on, but before I do that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the Irizas.